The Joe Rogan Experience.
If anything, it's a dress rehearsal for death. I mean, you're gonna. The thing is like that blink. If you're an atheist, which I get that, and I think there must be some like deep.
Do you know any atheists that have done like a real blowout psychedelic session?
No.
I know a couple. And those are the most puzzling to me, because people have done like real blowout mushroom sessions or blowout DMT sessions. I always think that they would leave the door open to the impossible, because it is impossible and you experienced it. It's not like, even if you're imagining it, I couldn't imagine that. So how am I imagining that? How am I imagining something in such incredible, vivid color and detail and
Sure.
and knowledge and love and all these different things you experience in that state is otherworldly. The fact that that is accessible at all, I don't care if it's through a molecule or through a yoga session. I don't care how it's accessible.
Right.
But the fact that that's accessible at all leaves open to me the I don't know, because I didn't know that that was a thing. So once I've experienced that, I'm like, oh, well, all this flat plane of existence that we take for granted, that we think this is everything around us, this is the whole environment we have to worry out for, this might be just one fucking stage on the radio dial of experiences and of dimensions that are interacting with us. We just don't have the senses to tune into them. And when you can, for me at least, it leaves open the door for who the fuck knows? Who knows, man? Just the fact that that's a thing.
So this is a trip. This is very trippy. So I got this book called The Tibetan Yoga of Dream and Sleep.
Whoa, I feel like I should like this again.
It's fucking cool. But basically it's like it's a form of Tibetan Buddhism that invites you to explore the difference between when you think you're awake and when you're dreaming. And so basically the idea is there isn't much of a difference. There's like right now, you're dreaming. This thing you call your human incarnation is a dream. And like when people are dying, they get all delirious and shit. They slide through time. Like I don't know if you've ever been around a dying person, but they like suddenly they're back in Vietnam. They're in the 50s.
Yeah.
They're in the 30s. Whatever their lifetime, which means that when you're dying, you're going to like spin through time too, meaning that this could be you dying right now, spinning backwards through time.
Duncan.
But like in a dream. So that when this is the main thing about it is that when we die, according to this, we sort of spend like 39 days, I think it is, in a place called the Bardo, which is essentially like what it's like to have no body, but still have this like, this basically like your karma, your identity sort of propelling you through. And that's how you like get your next incarnation. So essentially like that's what we're dealing with here is so bizarre and surreal that it easily could just be a dream state that one of these vast AIs that already exist is having. We're just processors. We're just being run. It's like running a simulation of a pandemic, or maybe this is a way that like an AI gets polished. Like maybe we're an AI that's being like polished and taught through this process of having a limited incarnation. You got to have that so that there's a reason for us to actually invest ourselves in stuff. Like if we were gods, if we lived for 1 million years, eventually we wouldn't have such a passionate relationship, I think, with the world, anyone who's going to. So you need that to train the thing up so it takes it seriously. You have to put the setting on mortal. Then maybe you just run a series of tests on the thing. You start what is this? What have we made? What does it do in a pandemic? And by it, I mean the sum total of all humans, which is right now disconnected. It's like a malfunctioning brain. You know what I mean? We're not connecting. But if we were being like sort of, I don't know how you put it, groomed, evolved intentionally, then every single moment in an individual's life and in the life of history could be looked at as a training or an upgrade. This could be an operating system upgrade. This could be what an operating system upgrade looks like in the biocomputer that we exist in. It looks like a fucking pandemic. And that's what's happening right now is we're being like upgraded for some reason, even though it's terrifying and obviously horrific, We're being upgraded. And anyway, the whole point is, man, this thing that we're in right now, whether or not there's a God, I think an atheist gets to lean into the idea that when they close their eyes and breathe their last breath, it stops. And I just think that's a big gamble, man. And I don't mean because you go to hell. I mean, how nice would that be?
Yeah.
If it just stopped? When more than likely it's, at least in this Tibetan yoga of dreaming and sleep, more than likely what happens is way before you actually die, when you get really sick, you already start waking up into your next life. You just like go through a weird dreamlike state called the bardo, where you freak the fuck out, and then you're suddenly alive in another being, completely oblivious to whatever your past incarnations were. And that's what we're in right now. So, I don't know. This is a great time for people to start, looking at that and preparing for that.